in of itself, respectively. And today we are going to speak about Cyprus over here as a special edition over here. I thought it's very, very much appropriate here at this point in time to, obviously speak about. We've been coming through the spheres of various different countries. Most recently, we spoke about Turkey, if you recollect. So I thought tonight we will speak about Cyprus and explore more recent history, the earlier time periods in of itself. And it's actually interesting that the history of the Jewish community will go back to the 2nd century before Common Era, when, let's say, a number of Jews in Cyprus was first recorded. The Jewish community had close relationships with many other religious groups on that specific island and was seen, let's say, favorably at that time by the Roman rulers. I think there was a war over the city of Ptolemais between Alexander Genius and King Lathyrus, which was spoken about on various occasions, while many Jews remained committed, let's just say, to King Lathyrus and were subsequently killed at that stage in time. Now, Jewish rebellions and the Byzantine era, the Jews lived in Cyprus during the Roman rule. Christianity was preached to Jews, just like in various other places, at an early date. I think St. Paul being the first and Apostle Barnabas, I think he was a native of Cyprus, was the second. They attempted to convert Jews to Christianity. I think Aristobulus of Britannia, the first bishop of Britain, was a brother of Barnabas, if I'm not mistaken. Jewish immigrants reported over had participated in the Caito's War against Romans and their leaders in 117 Common Era under the leadership of Artemion. That was reported over. And various, I think there was, according to Roman historian Cassius Dio, a revolt party massacred 240,000 Greek Cypriots. Cassio Dio also reported that Jews were not allowed to settle on Cyprus after the uprising and was put down. Let's just say, you can see anti-Semitism over there was also prevalent. The law was applied so strictly in centuries that followed that any Jew who wrecked his ship off the coast of Cyprus was executed straight away. So you can see, unfortunately, there was a really, really anti-Semitism all throughout Jewish history. Jewish settlement in Cyprus, I think, had completely halted until the 4th century Common Era. And I think, according to someone named Eutychius of Alexandria, he wrote, the Jewish diaspora attacked Christian monasteries on the island during the reign of Heraclius between 610 to 641, respectively. I think twice between 649 to 653 is reported over. The population was, at that point in time, vast majority Christian. Cyprus was subjected to 2 raids by Arab forces, which resulted in the capture and enslavement, reported of many Cypriots. And one story, I think, is actually chronicled relating that an enslaved Jew in Syria managed to escape and seek sanctuary in Cyprus, where he converted, let's just say at that point in time, I think, and settled in Amathus in the late 7th century. It happened to have been communities of the Greek-speaking Romanoites. Jews from the Byzantine period, I think, had been documented at that point in time. So, friends, anyone tuning in, welcome to our channel. We're exploring the history of the Jewish community of Cyprus, so please subscribe to the channel now and enjoy so much great content. Now, there was a Latin era, really between 1191 to 1571, friends, over there. So what went on over there? I think it was in 1110 Common Era that Jews were engaged in tax collecting on the island. That's what the thing. Now, another thing that we've mentioned him on various occasions before here on the series, Benjamin of Tudela. He was a well-known traveler, I think, who traveled various different countries all over the world and chronicled it. He reported that there were 3 distinct Jewish communities in Cyprus in 1163. There were, let's say, Karaites, there was Rabbinites, and heretical Epicurean over there at that point in time. Obviously, we don't promote Epicurean. That is one thing for sure in of itself. So that was the categories that there was at that stage in time. And I think some of them observed Shabbat, for example, Shabbat evenings. I'm not mistaken. King Peter I enticed the Egyptian Jewish traders to come to Cyprus by promising equal treatment to Jews. The Genoese, I think, was between 1373 to 1463, stole Jewish property in both Famagusta and in Nicosia. I think in the 16th century, about 2,000 Jews were reported, I believe, at that stage in time to have been living in Famagusta. and a rumor reached Venice that someone named Joseph Nasi was plotting to betray the Famagusta fortress or to Ottomans. I think at that point in time there was investigations which failed to ascertain the veracity of the report. However, I think as a countermeasure at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken, the Venetian authorities decided to expel all non-native Jews from the island while leaving the Famagusta community in contact. So over there was, so we can see that there was anti-Semitism all throughout. Now, anyone tuning in live, welcome. We are exploring the history over here of the Cypriot Jewish community here on this special edition. So welcome, wishing you all well, and enjoy as we are going to explore some of the highlights, let's just say, in of itself at that point in time. So I think, Ottomans at that point in time, there was Ottoman era between 1571 to 1878, which we very much have to point out about. So Cyprus was conquered by the Ottoman Empire also after the war with Venice. During Ottoman rule, the Jewish community of Cyprus thrived due to there being an influx of Sephardic Jews to Ottoman lands who immigrated to the Ottoman territories after the Spanish Inquisition, the Spanish expulsion in 1492. Now it's actually reported over, I believe, at that point in time they would emigrate, and Famagusta became the main center of the Ottoman Jews community in Cyprus. Ottoman rule lasted till 1878, when Cyprus came under British rule, which we've spoken about on various occasions before here inside this series. Now, anyone tuning in live, welcome. We are exploring about the history of the Cyprus Jewish community. So please join and subscribe to our community as we explore what's actually taken place over the past history in of itself. So welcome, everyone. So now we're going to speak about more modern history. We're going to try and explore the rabbinate and who were the rabbis at various stages of time. I think during the last 20 years of the 19th century, there was attempts made to settle Russian and Romanian Jewish refugees in Cyprus. The first attempt, I think, was in the year 1883. There was a settlement of several hundred Russians established in the Orides, I think near Paphos. And I believe at this point in time that this attempt would fail, with the settlers moving elsewhere. Some of these settlers had, let's say earlier, I think in the year 1882, tried to settle in Latakia in Syria. 1885, 27 Romanian families from Nirant county settled on the island. So that was a key time period in of itself. And both these early settlements were led by someone named Michael Friedland, who was the son of Rabbi Natan Friedland, Romanian Jews in 1891. Again, I believe would buy land in Cyprus, though they did not move to the country. Now, let's say something just within regards to Rabbi Natan Friedland. He was a proto-Zionist activist. He was a devotee of the Zion, and he really tried to bring people to the land of Israel. He was, I think, maybe born a part of the Russian Empire, and he was close to many famous rabbis, including Rabbi Zundel Salant, and he was a student of Rabbi Chaim Volozhin, interesting enough, if I'm not mistaken, and he did a lot of proto-Zionist activism, let's just say, in itself. He was very well traveled, and was really, really very much, did very much so. He was very well, was also very much connected to the Kibbutz Zion, and he was known, I think, interesting enough, with a collaboration, I think, with someone named Tzvi Hirsch Kalischer, someone we've spoken about on various occasions before, who was an Orthodox German rabbi who expressed views from a religious perspective in favor, let's just say, of the Jewish resettlement of the land of Israel. Very interesting. I think dating actually Theodor Herzl, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let's continue speaking about them. I think under leadership of someone named Walter Cohen, 15 Russian families founded a colony in Margot in 1897 with the help of Ahavat Zion of London and the Jewish Colonization Association, if I'm not mistaken. There was a delegate to the Third Zionist Congress at Basel, attempted to get an endorsement in 1899, right at the end of the 19th century, for Jewish immigration to Cyprus, especially for Romanian Jews at that point in time. They convinced, I think, 24 Romanian Jews to immigrate to the land, and 28 families would follow at a later stage in time. And this JCA, Jewish Colonization Association, would settle, I think, more than a dozen families in the land, and mandated Jules Rosenheck, and an Alsatian Jew who had previously been the JCA administer in the Galilee to run this colony. Interesting enough. I think at that point in time there was friction also between Sephardic and Ashkenazic community at that point in time. And I think, there was someone named Jules Rosenheck, who was married actually to a Greek Sephardic woman. He wrote a 138-page long document on this attempt to settle Jews in Cyprus, which helps understand this attempt to populate Cyprus with Jews when there were only 65 Jews on the island in 1881. So he would use vast efforts on settlement of Palestine because farmers there usually knew farming and were more motivated to work the land because of their emotional attachment to the land of Israel. Unlike obviously small settlements in Cyprus, where there was all you could say hard times, self-sustaining also respectively. So that is very, very interesting. So friends, anyone tuning in live, we're exploring history within regards to Cypriot Jewish community. I think most Jewish communities between 1900 to 1910 were located in Nicosia. Come what 1901, the Jewish population on the island was 63 men and 56 women. Now, I think come what 1902 that would be a time period where enter Theodor Herzl, the famous Zionist who we've spoken about on various occasions before he died. This series presented a pamphlet to the parliamentary committee, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at that stage in time. So this was on alien immigration in London, bearing the title The Problem of the Jewish Immigration to England and the United States of America. So by furthering the Jewish colonization of Cyprus, respectively, over there. This attempt to settle Jews in Cyprus and the Rosenheck report provides, let's say, an insight into the contemporary settlement of the land of Israel, which is something that we have to point out over there. So very, very interesting. Anyone tuning in live, welcome to our channel, welcome to our community. Please subscribe and enjoy the fantastic content that we've got. And the attempt, let's just say, of Jews to settle in Cyprus and the Rosenberg report provides us insights into contemporary settlements of land of Israel because its climate is similar to that of Cyprus. Hostility from local population doesn't seem to have been as bad in Cyprus as it was in Palestine. So seemingly at that stage in time, that is an important, I would definitely say, factor that we have to mention about here inside this class. So very, very interesting. So we're now talking about really in the deep heart of the 20th century, Cyprus over here. And during the Second World War, the Holocaust, Cyprus played a major role for European Jews. After the rise of Nazi Germany in 1933, hundreds of Jews escaped to the island. Following the liquidation of concentration camps of Europe, the British set up a detention camp in Cyprus for Holocaust survivors, illegally trying to enter Palestine. From 1946 until the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, the British confined 50,000 Jewish refugees in Cyprus. Once the State of Israel was created, most of the Jewish community moved there. About 2,000 children were born in Cyprus as families waited to enter the land of Israel. I think in 2014, a Garden of Peace was opened in Exaltiambo to commemorate the plight of thousands of Jewish refugees imprisoned in the British camps. I think Israel has diplomatic relations with Cyprus, and since 1948, when the Medinat Israel, the state, was founded, Cyprus was a British protectorate. Israel and Cyprus associations have continued to expand, especially since 1960. That was the year of Cyprus's independence from Great Britain, and Cyprus has remained a friend throughout the conflicts of recent decades. There have been incidents such as side effects of Turkey and Israel cooperating in military operations, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And interesting enough, Rabbi Ari Ziv Raskin originally arrived in Cyprus. I think it was from Israel in 2003 as an emissary. Chabad Lubavitch, he's a key, let's just say, rabbi over there. Let's say something about Rabbi Ari Ziv. I think it was actually from, if I'm not mistaken, his brothers were also rabbis, I think various communities, also Rabbi Shlomo Raskin in Frankfurt and Rabbi Shmuel Raskin in Budapest in Hungary, respectively. So he would be a key rabbi over there. And I think he was nominated as official Jewish leader and chief rabbi of Cyprus on 12th of September 2005, if I'm not mistaken. And Rabbi Yonah Metzger would actually come at that point in time. And there was a representative also for the British chief rabbi, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs over there. So that's very, very interesting. I think his synagogue was a Larnaca synagogue, which we're going to speak about in due course, also respectively. So he's a key figure in recent Cypriot history. And other rabbis, I think, there was guests, I think, when I think he was inducted, if I'm not mistaken, Rabbi Moshe Kotlarski, who was a vice chairman of Lubavitch Educational Division of the Lubavitch Worldwide Headquarters, if I'm not mistaken, will come. I think in 2005, the local Jewish community will inaugurate its first synagogue, the Larnaca Synagogue, and they would also have a mikveh, a Jewish cemetery, and started a Jewish learning program in Larnaca. I think the cemetery over there was established on land that had been used by the late 1800s, early 1900s, by, let's say, settlers, and there were earlier graves, only a few were eligible, or let's say identifiable. Those, they were all, I think, believe post 1900, if I'm not mistaken. And interesting enough, as another tidbit, Cypriot wine is mentioned in Talmud as a necessary ingredient for the holy incense, and the community began overseeing the production of kosher wine at Lambori Winery in Kato Platres. At Kamot's 2016, the Jewish community of Cyprus had opened Jewish centers in Larnaca, Nicosia, Lemessos, Paphos, and Ayanapa, also respectively over there. Education programs, kindergarten, day school, and the rabbinate, I think, was planning, or I don't know if they did at the end, establish a new larger community center with a museum about the history of Jews in Cyprus and a library. I think in 2011, the Archbishop of Chrysostomos II of Cyprus met the chief rabbi of Israel and signed a declaration affirming the illegitimacy of the doctrine of collective Jewish guilt for the killing, at that point in time, of Yoshka, we'll call him, some people call him Jesus, repudiating the idea as a prejudice that it is incompatible with the teachings of the Holy Scriptures. To come out 2018, the Jewish population of Cyprus was as much as 6,500. By April 2024, had expanded further, with Israelis alone numbering 12,000. Interesting enough. So that's something important to state over here. So let's speak a bit with regards to Larnaca Synagogue, which is a main synagogue in Cyprus. I think more recent ones. I think it's more of a connected to Hasidic branch of Judaism. As I say, it was designated in a modernist style, respectively. It was inaugurated on 12th of September in 2003. I think it's obviously an Orthodox synagogue. And it's interesting, Cyprus was the only EU nation without an active synagogue, I think. And the chief rabbi, Rabbi Yonah Metzger, at the time, told the crowd that in the inauguration ceremony, this is a historic event of Cyprus. We are very happy. Cyprus is open to all regions. Cypriot Education Minister Pefkios George Iadis, I think, said Cyprus is a state where all religions are tolerated, and we welcome the Jewish synagogue over there. The ceremony and the inauguration of a Torah scroll and the laying of a cornerstone for a mikveh, respectively. So that is something interesting over there within regards to the rabbinate. So friends, anyone tuning in live, we are exploring the Jewish community of Cyprus over here in this very, very special edition over here. So welcome to the channel and enjoy. Obviously, we can see the strong presence, and the Sephardic Jewish community would also have very much a strong presence, let's just say, in Cyprus all throughout. So it's very, very important to speak over. It's not the first video we're recording. It's probably about the 30th videos we are recording at the moment here on this series about exploring all different countries in the world. So that's very, very interesting. So So as we stated before, I think really 1492 would be a time period where many people will come to Cyprus at that stage in time. So that's very, very important to point that out. Now, friends, anyone tuning in live, we're exploring the Jewish community of Cyprus over here in this special edition of this. So welcome to our channel. And much can be said over within regards to this community. Okay, so we talked about the various places that they would come in. It was a correspondence, I think, with various different countries. And let's say just a word with regards to the World Jewish Congress. I think they've got a website also that talks about all the various different countries of what's going on over there. So let's explore Cyprus a little bit over here, just using some of their notes. I think It's a WJC affiliate, also World Jewish Congress affiliate, and just going back, obviously it goes back to the Roman time period, and Jewish community would thrive, especially between the 12th and 15th centuries. There were more Jews in Cyprus than any other Greek island, as we stated about before. There was annexation of the island by the Ottoman Empire in late 16th century, saw several Jews leave Cyprus at that point in time. After the island came under English rule in 1878, there was attempts to establish Jewish agricultural settlement in Cyprus, which we mentioned about before. After the Second World War and the Holocaust, tens of thousands of Holocaust survivors confined on the island by the British for trying to illegally enter Palestine. This reported over. After the establishment of the State of Israel, these survivors made Aliyah, and very interesting. And throughout the remainder of the 20th century, Jewish life in Cyprus, I think, was largely dormant, aside from occasional religious services and Israel and Yom Ha'atzmaut, the independent state itself. Now, I think the community obviously is small, but it's not that small at the moment, as many Israelis especially have moved in. And I think, so I'm not so sure exactly. There's conflicting reports within regards to the size of the Jewish community of Cyprus. I think Jewish life in Cyprus is centered around the Jewish community of Cyprus, the country's Jewish communal representative organization. The Jewish community of Cyprus is an affiliate of the European Jewish Congress and a member of the Commonwealth Jewish Council. The WJC, World Jewish Congress, has had contact with the Jewish community in Cyprus since 1949 due to the, detainment of Holocaust survivors by the British during the so-called illegal Aliyah. Now, I think in 2005, as mentioned before, there was the first synagogue built in Larnaca. There's kosher food, I think, in Cyprus. And Nicosia has a kindergarten and a Sunday school. And there are also, if I'm not mistaken, Jewish education programs for adults that run through the Jewish community of Cyprus and Chabad, respectively. So very, very interesting. There's various different Jewish sites in Cyprus, including the Jewish cemetery near Larnaca. And the British detention camp is commemorated by a plaque, and a 2014 a garden of peace was established by Axolotl Tombow to honour those detained by the British, as we mentioned about before. And there's plans, obviously, to build a museum, I think, in recent times about the history of the Jews of Cyprus, and possibly also to build a library. And there's full domestic and diplomatic ties, military, agricultural, technological, and tourist endeavours with Israel. So that's very, very interesting. Now, friends, anyone tuning in live, we are a community here, so please welcome and enjoy as we speak about the Jewish community of Cyprus, respectively, over there. So, very interesting. So we can try and explore more within regards to them. It's a place with history, heritage, Jewish community, and museums, as we've mentioned about before over here, which is very, very important to point out here. Once again, please welcome everyone to our community. And if you happen to be new here, please send an email. We'd love to hear more from you. And just goodness in of itself. The Cyprus in of itself, let's just say we could talk about more. There's various different articles, let's just say, within regards to the country of Cyprus, respectively. And I think one of the chief rabbis of the camps, I think at that point in time in Cyprus, I think we're going back towards the 1940s, where there were Jewish refugees were led by the chief rabbi of the camps. I think someone named Rabbi Yeshua Mendel Erneberg, who was dedicated to ensuring Jews in the camps had all their religious and spiritual needs met. This was what we're talking about in the mid-1940s when they were inside the camp, respectively, at that point in time, which we've mentioned about on various occasions before over here inside this series. So just to continue, I think there was obviously in 2003, we'll see the new chief rabbinate over there open a new synagogue and certified kosher food. Now, Rabbi Yoshua Menachem Ehrenberg was a key rabbi, I think, in Cyprus at that point in time, and I think various different writings of his has been sold all over the years, and that's something that I would definitely point out over here. Now, friends, everyone tuning in live, welcome to our channel. And what's interesting, I think, Rabbi Yoshua Menachem, there's various different responses, I think, that are available within regards to him. I think he had the title RBD, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually a Tel Avivian, you could argue. And he was born in 1904. He passed away in 1976, I think, in Tel Aviv, if I'm not mistaken. He was the son of Rabbi Yitzhak Aryeh Leib Erneberg and Rabbinate Sarah Erneberg. And very, very interesting. So he was head of Jewish court in Tel Aviv. Also, at one stage in time, obviously, will end up prominent right in Cyprus. That's something that we have to point out. And just using the Jenny website over here, just for some more information, I think he was chief rabbi of the detention camps in Cyprus at various stage of time. He passed away in 1976. He was also a halachic jurist and head of Jewish court over there. And yeah, I think they actually write on his tombstone, Erez in Lebanon, a great Torah scholar, a Torah follower, and a Gentile soul who sacrificed himself in the Mishkan, in tabernacle of the Torah, day and night. One of the greatest followers of Belz, apparently he was, and he was great Rav Yeshua Menachem, son of the great, I believe, rabbi, the governor, Rabbi Yitzhak Aryeh Sternberg, who was Zichron Livracha. I think he was a chief perfumers on pharmacist over there, and the response he happened to have been of the Devar Yehoshua on the fourth part of the Shulchan Aruch, the Shulchan, if I'm not mistaken. He would serve as the chief rabbi in refugee camps in Cyprus and head of Tel Aviv, of Bedin, obviously, I believe, afterwards. I think this was for 28 years. And I believe 19th of Adar happens to be his Hilul, which is very, very interesting to speak about. Friends, speaking about the history of the Jewish community of Cyprus over here inside this special edition over here. So everyone, welcome to our community, as we are eager to learn more about the great rabbis of yesteryear over here. So please subscribe and enjoy, friends, as we will explore over here. Okay, so we could say a bit more with regards to Cyprus. We mentioned a few of the rabbis already, which is, I think, very, very important to speak about. And obviously very, very much a growing community happens to be, which is also very interesting. Larnaca Synagogue is a famous place, let's just say, in Cyprus of this specific day. Much more can be said within regards to this specific country. And much, I think, just in Jewish Encyclopedia, you can find that information, and on various other different parts, let's just say. So hopefully it will be an ideal to actually record a video and travel around various different countries, but I'm not sure we'll be able to do that or have the time, respectively. So Rabbi Aryeh Ziv Raskin, as mentioned before, is a key rabbi over there. There's actually a chief rabbinate of Cyprus website out there where it talks about Rabbi Raskin. I think has been for 20 years a chief rabbi since 2003. He led Cyprus Jewry with deep faith and absolute dedication. And I think the ceremony of the crowning of the rabbi was performed by then Chief Rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Yonah Metzger, and Representative Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of the UK, as I mentioned before. Since Chief Rabbi Raskin's arrival, the Jewish community of Cyprus grew massively, I believe currently amounting to approximately 3,000 families, almost 1% of the population. So Chief Rabbi Raskin does his best as representing the Jewish community when meeting local government officials and international organizations to address any issues that the Jewish community may be facing. So that was the world. Rabbi Raskin, I think, works also relentlessly, let's just say, in of itself, for the Jews of Cyprus, so that they have religious freedoms and are able to lead a Jewish life, respectively, in a proper fashion. So that is very interesting. And welcome to our community, anyone watching live, as we are exploring the history of the chief rabbinate of Cyprus here inside this special idea. So let's just say in of itself. So I think much has been said over within regards to getting into places, but that was a really definitely an important time period in the history of Cyprus Jewish community. So this is a short, brief, let's just say, session in of itself. So welcome anyone to our channel here. If you happen to be watching live, welcome, and wish you all well, and keep up the fantastic work, everyone that happens to be learning at this stage in time, as we are speaking here and wishing you all well. I think we are going to do another video, hopefully Bezrat Hashem tomorrow at some stage, so please watch your space over here within regards to that. Now, if any of you descend from Cyprus, please send me a message on the chat. It would be interesting to know what you have to say and to actually discuss it in totality. It would be a fantastic idea. So that's very interesting. So friends, anyone tuning in live, subscribe. Always, we're just a minute away from everyone. Bet Shemesh is very slow. And yeah, what an important topic to speak about. And well done everyone for spending the time to watch. May Bezrat Hashem, we really go from strength to strength. That's something I would definitely have to point out over here on this channel, as we are approaching at the moment about 8,000 subscribers at the moment, which is absolutely phenomenal achievement, friends. So please, everyone, subscribe and join. We've got doing well. We don't just do videos also about various different countries that we explore. Who are the rabbis in these countries? What's the synagogues over there like? What's the community like in some of these countries? And that's very, very important, I feel, than me, for example, sharing what I think has to be done or what doesn't need to be done. So that's very important that to distinguish that in itself. So everyone, thanks for watching over here. I know it was a shorter session. I'm sure there is more to say within regards to the Cyprus Jewish community over here. But thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Anyone, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and enjoy. I'm wishing you blessings here from Israel. Take care from Bet Shemesh.